Today I'm going to show you the fastest way for you to find your voice so that you can become an expert, an authority, a leader in your industry so that you can grow your tribe and grow your business. Hey everybody, and welcome to Optimal Achiever. My name is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about what is that fastest path that you can take so that you can become an authority in your industry, so that you can become an expert in your niche. And I want to make a quick distinction. When I say the fastest way, I'm not saying taking a shortcut. I don't believe in shortcuts. I don't believe in trying to figure out ways so that you can shortcut the process, because in the process is where you grow. In the process is where you figure out what you need to become the person that's going to be able to achieve what you're trying to accomplish. In the process, in the journey is where you get valuable feedback. You know, that's where you grow your resilience. That's where you learn how to overcome obstacles, right? The process and the journey is very important. But what I'm talking about fastest is I'm talking about the straightest path to your goal. Right? Instead of spinning your wheels, instead of just kind of do things in a way that's just going to make you do more work than necessary, I want to give you the straightest path to get there. So that's what this is all about. The fastest way for you to become an expert. Okay, number one is you have to get started with minimal friction. Okay, so I know what you're thinking right now. It's like, oh yeah, get started. I get it. That everybody says to get started. But here's the thing. I want you to get started with minimal friction. Okay, what most people tend to do at the beginning is that they try to perfect, right? They try to get so many, ducks in a row. And I like how Seth Godin once said it. He says, you don't need your ducks in a row. You just need one duck and go, right? Like, at the beginning, most people try to create the perfect branding, the perfect name for their business, the perfect logo. They try to build the perfect website. They try to have their website up and ready and all their social media accounts, right? They want to have everything, perfected and ready to go. And then they try to, when they start to post or create this content, they're trying to put it on every single platform. This is a lot of friction, right? When you do this, this is a lot of work. And what happens is that at the beginning, the motivation is high. The motivation is high, so it's a little bit easier to get a lot of things done, right? Let's say you want to start a YouTube channel, right? And at the beginning, you want to get everything right. You want to, create this elaborate production. You want to create this amazing video with amazing graphics, and you do it, right? And you get it done, and you do the first video, and you do the second video. But what happens is that when the motivation starts to decrease, then you're not going to keep up with it. You're not going to keep doing it because it's too much work. It's not a sustainable pace. So you have to get started right away. Obviously, that's the fastest way for you to get there, is to get started. But the big mistake that most people make is that they overcomplicate it. They try to do too much at the beginning. And they might work at the beginning because the motivation is high. But once the motivation leaves, once the motivation is gone, it's going to be hard to sustain. So you have to move forward, start with minimal friction, and stay consistent with minimal friction. So what I recommend is that what you have to do to become an expert is that you have to become known. You have to show up. You have to produce content, right? You have to add value. That's how you become an expert. So you have to give to people. You have to produce content and publish it often, right? But what I recommend is that don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to create a blog, or don't try to create, an elaborate website, or don't try to create, an elaborate podcast or an elaborate YouTube channel. Keep it very simple. The thing that people are going to resonate with the most, and the only thing that people are going to pay attention to the most, or really the only thing they're going to pay attention to, is the value you provide to them. Because they're only thinking about what's in it for me, right? So they just want the value. So when you start this journey as an expert, what you want to do is you want to keep the platform very simple so that you can so that you can keep a sustainable pace with the content that you're publishing. So I recommend, if you want to write, if you're a writer, then post on Facebook. Just post on your Facebook feed, post on your Facebook page, whatever it is, but just keep it simple. Don't create a whole website. Don't create a whole WordPress blog and just complicate things. Keep it very simple. You can sign up in the matter of 10 seconds. I mean, obviously you probably already have a Facebook account, but the point I'm trying to make is that that's it. Once you have a Facebook account, you can start publishing. Don't go out of your way to create a separate blog. Just keep it simple. If you're going to podcast, use the Anchor app. The Anchor app allows you to just record right into your phone. You could record right into your phone and publish it to every single podcasting platform that's out there. So just keep it very simple. Don't create this elaborate, podcast with an intro and all that. Just keep it simple. You want to, at the beginning, all you want to do is you want to stay consistent. You want to show up consistently. That's it. That's your only goal. So keep it simple. If you want to do videos, I recommend that that you use Facebook to upload your videos on Facebook. Use IGTV. Use Facebook Lives, right? This, again, you're using these platforms. It's already there for you. It's available. You just record and you upload, and it's very simple. Or if you're going to do YouTube, just keep it simple, right? Just keep it simple so that you can stay consistent. And then later on, add all the fancy stuff, add all the cards and add all the, sound effects and intros and all that good stuff. But at the beginning, get started with minimal friction. Okay, number two. Number two is that you want to get through the suck. Okay, so the first and foremost, you want to understand that everybody sucks at the beginning, right? When you come into this world, you don't know how to do anything. You have to learn everything, right? You have to learn how to walk, right? At the beginning, you stumble and you fall. So everybody at the beginning is going to suck. So a lot of times people are trying to they don't get started because they're like, oh, but I'm not good enough. Well, how do you get better? You get better by practicing. And the fastest way you're going to get better is by practicing the actual thing. Not theoretically, not learning about it, not by watching YouTube videos, not by reading about it, right? It's by actually doing it, by actually putting yourself in front of a camera and speaking into it, by actually typing into a keyboard and publishing it, right? That is how you learn, is by actually doing the actual thing. But at the beginning, you are going to suck, okay? So this is something that is just going to always be present. It's always going to be a hill that we have to climb, no matter what. Everyone has to go over this hill. Okay, so the faster you get over this hill, you can get to the place that you want to get to. But you have to climb that hill. It's just there for everybody. I remember when I was in film school, we saw a documentary one time from a famous director, and he basically said something along the lines of, "You have 3 bad movies in you." Okay, no matter what, they're inside of you. You just got to get them out. So the faster that you produce those 3 movies, the faster that you get to good movies. And later along in my life, I heard an author say the same thing. They say you have 3 bad books in you. So the faster you write them and get them out of your system, the faster you get to the good books. So the point is that you can't bypass that. You can't bypass the fact that you're going to suck at the beginning. So just get through the suck. Just get through the suck as fast as possible. Don't wait for you. It's just not possible for you to be ready. Like, the only way you get ready is by getting started, like by practicing the actual thing. So you can't bypass that. Just get through the suck. Okay, number 3 is that you want to learn as you teach. Obviously, the main thing for you to become an expert is that you have to teach. You have to provide value to people. You have to show them how to do something, show them how to accomplish a goal, show them how to get a result, right? You got to show them how to solve a problem. You have to teach them something. That is what an expert does. That is what an authority does, right? They know something and they're able to teach people. So you want to teach, right? But what I've learned and what I actually absolutely love to do is I love to teach to learn. Okay. So what happens is that when you teach someone something, you start to understand it even better, right? Because you have to take complex subjects and you have to break it down to a point, to a fundamental, components to help people understand it. You have to simplify it. You have to find metaphors to explain it, And as you're doing that to help people learn, you're learning it better yourself. Like, you're starting to master this content because you're really analyzing it from many different perspectives, and it helps you get a better understanding of it. So learn as you teach, right? You want to continue to learn by providing value to people, by teaching them. So it's a two-way street. You're mutually benefiting. People are learning because you're teaching them, and you're learning even more because you're understanding these concepts even better. Now, you might be saying, well, I don't know I don't know, what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about something, but I don't really know it well to be teaching. Well, here's where you have to take the role of the reporter. If you're starting out and you really don't know or have an expertise on a subject that you really want to become an expert in, then just get into that research mode, right? Like, start reading the books, start, watching the YouTube videos and do all this. But at the same time, this is the difference. I know I said you gotta get started, you gotta start teaching. But if you don't know the subject well, have a half and half approach. You're researching, you're spending half of your time researching and half of your time reporting what you're learning. That's as simple as that. If you're learning something and you're really passionate about something and you're geeking out about something, then take a 50-50 approach. Learn it and then immediately teach it to somebody else. Immediately create content about it. Immediately get the takeaways that you have and make it a, whatever it is that you want to do, either a Facebook post or a video or a podcast on Anchor, right? Using the minimal friction approach. You want to use that 50-50 approach. Learn and teach. Teach and report what you're learning as you go. So, take that approach of learning as you teach, right? If you're starting out, well, it's great. You're just reporting what you're learning and you're learning in this process and you're teaching in this process. So it's a mutual benefit. And if you know the subject very well, then continue to teach it, continue to, deepen your understanding of the subject. And you do that by teaching, right? You learn it more by teaching it. Okay, so that's number 3. Okay, number 4 is that you want to publish often, right? This is just probably the most important thing that you can possibly do to become an expert the fastest, is that you want to publish often, because basically people are going to follow those that show up. They don't know if Joe Schmo from the Valley is an expert if he never puts anything online. Like, people are just oblivious to the fact that you exist unless you publish often, unless you show up, unless you show people that, hey, I'm here and I'm passionate about this and I'm learning so much about it and I want to teach you. And that's what people want. Again, people are, what's in it for me? They want to learn something. And if you have someone that's publishing often about a subject that you want to learn, they're going to listen. Right? This is a big mistake that I've had for a lot of years of my life, is the fact that I knew people that were not as qualified as I was in a specific subject, but they were making way more money. They had a tribe of followers because they were just posting their content, because they were just teaching people, because people didn't know that I existed, because I just never put myself out there. And I kept on getting upset because I'm like, man, I can't believe this guy he doesn't know the subject as well as I know it. How does he have all these people? Because the fact that he was just willing to provide value to people, right? That's what people want. Just people want to learn. So if you're out there and you're publishing often, then people are going to find you and people are going to start to consume your content. So you want to publish content consistently. And understand that this is just a game of practice, right? The people that continuously practice, they're going to get better. They're going to get better, right? So if you're publishing content, just consider that being your practice, right? Like if you have a basketball player and he wants to become a very good basketball player, he's going to practice. He's going to practice dribbling. He's going to practice shooting. He's going to practice, defending, whatever it is that he wants to get better at, he's going to practice, right? And if your practice, like the thing that's going to make you skilled at becoming an expert, is by publishing content, doing this consistently. This is your practice, and you're going to get better if you practice it, right? You can't just theoretically learn about it. You can't just, it's not just about watching videos and reading books. It's about actually practicing it. This is how you get better for the game, right? This is how you improve so that you can win the game, is you got to practice. And your practice as an expert is publishing content. So you have to do this consistently. And ultimately, when you are consistent, people are just going to become familiar with you, right? You're going to, people buy from the people that they know, like, and trust. And the way that you build yourself so that you can become known is by showing up often. The way that you build trust is by, again, it's familiarity, right? Familiarity. People see you often, they're going to start to, they're going to become familiar with you. They're going to recognize your face. They're going to recognize who you are. They're going to start to know who you are. They're going to start to feel like they know you, right? So the more that you show up, the more that you publish often, the more that you're going to build yourself as a familiar face, as a trustworthy person. And if you're providing value, people are just going to like you. So ultimately, people are going to buy from the people that they know, like, and trust. Give them something, give them value, and they're going to start to like you. So you got to publish often. All right, guys. And the last one, number 5, is that you have to test and get feedback. So now this is how you really, truly start honing in on your craft, is that as you're producing content, you're basically testing out content, right? You're basically, at the beginning, you want to, cast a wide net and produce a lot of different types of content. And then little by little, you're going to start to see what are the things that are really resonating with people. What are the things that people are engaging with? Like, what are they liking? What are they sharing, right? So it's just, at this point, it's just figuring out, well, what is it that people really like? What is it that people really want to learn? What are the problems that people want to solve? What are the results that people are looking for? What are their desires, right? So this whole idea of publishing content is your way to understand your audience and to show them that you care by listening to them, by listening to what, they're responding to. And that way you can produce the content that they want, right? This is part of the process, is that you want to test because you care about what it is that they want. And then when you understand what it is, when you start getting that feedback, right? You want to test and get feedback. When you start getting that feedback of what it is that they want, you want to give them more of that. And this is how you're going to grow as an expert, right? This is the fastest way to get there, is you got to start right now, start publishing that content often and start getting the feedback and understanding, well, what is it that people are resonating with? So at the beginning, you cast a wide net, and then little by little, when you start to see certain things, outproduce the other ones, then you start to hone in on that. And that is how you start to, create massive momentum in your business. That's how you start to build your tribe, is to really hone in on what it is they want and give them more of that. So you want to test and get feedback. At the very beginning, don't really worry about this too much. The first thing you want to do, first and foremost, is to create momentum. Just get consistent with it. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Get through the suck, right? At the beginning, you want to just get through the suck. Just start producing content. Keep it consistent. Don't worry too much about the quality. Don't worry too much about, the actual value that you're providing. At the beginning, it's just about practicing. It's just about getting better. It's about you getting better, being on camera or writing something, improving your writing ability, improving your speaking ability. That's at the beginning, that's all you're trying to do. It's just trying to practice, get consistency going, get momentum going. And then once you get momentum going, you really want to do this step number 5, which is test and get feedback. Once you got that momentum going, you want to start becoming very deliberate on improving and refining your content and refining your process. And that's how you get better. All right, guys, that's our episode. So let me just summarize it really quick for you. You want to get started with minimal friction. Keep it as simple as possible so that you can keep it sustainable. The motivation is going to be high at first, but don't let that fool you. You want to keep it simple, get started right away, and get through the suck, right? You're going to suck at the beginning, but this is a perfect opportunity for you to get better, right? It's just to get started and just to get practicing, right? So you want to get through the suck, and you want to start teaching, right? Start teaching right away. Even if you don't know anything, you can report what you're learning, right? That's how you do it. Is that you want to learn as you teach, you want to learn as you go, right? And even if you know the subject well, you can learn it even better by teaching, by breaking down these complex subjects and simplifying them to their fundamental components. This is going to help you understand your subject even better. And guys, you want to stay consistent. That's the name of the game. The people that are going to win in this, for the long game, the people that are going to win in any industry are the people that they're going to stick with it. They're going to stay committed, and they're going to be consistent, showing up, and people are just going to know, like, and trust them because they're showing up constantly and they're continuously providing value for them. And then ultimately you want to test and get feedback, right? You want to continuously and deliberately refine your process so that you can hone in on that expert that is going to dominate your industry, that's going to dominate your niche. All right, guys, I want you to take what you learned from this video so that you could go out and become an expert in your niche. I want you to become a captivating authority that provides massive value to your audience. I know that there's a leader inside of you, a leader that can show people the way. You're an entrepreneur at heart because you want to make a difference. So go out there, build your tribe, and fuel your mission-driven business.